Good evening and welcome to the 30th Annual Kamloops Sports Hall of Fame and Kamloops Sports Council Athletic Awards. We are disappointed that we cannot be together in person and celebrate in our usual fashion this year, but we are excited to honor the absolute best in Kamloops athletics. We've got an amazing group of athletes, coaches, and teams to recognize for their achievements in sport. We are in unprecedented times, but their commitment to sport, progression, and remarkable accomplishments is something we need to recognize. Now sit back, relax, and we hope you enjoy this evening's show. Please welcome Henry Perrell, President of Kamloops Sports Council.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Don't worry, it's just big writing, so it's not going to last very long. Okay, so as President of the Kamloops Sports Council, I'd like to welcome you on behalf of our board, as well as the Kamloops Sports Hall of Fame Committee, to the 30th Annual Hall of Fame event. The Hall of Fame does not exist without financial support, so I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our main event sponsors, GK Sound, BA Blacktop, and the City of Kamloops. Other sponsors include Capri Insurance, Kamloops Curling Club, Inland Technical Services, Tourism Kamloops, Kelson Group, and Up Real Estate. Sponsoring both the Hall of Fame and the Athletic Awards are Pacific Sport Interior BC, Tim Hortons John Pankuch, and TRU Athletics. And individual award sponsors include Kamloops Sports Legacy Fund, Kamloops Minor Baseball, Newtek Fire Protection and Safety Services, LN Group, and the Royal Canadian Legion Branch 52. So I'd like to give a shout out to the people responsible for organizing the event tonight. Jan Anton, our banquet chair, and Kara Karpluk as event manager for the Kamloops Sports Council. Okay, and thanks to Delana Nishaw for once again taking on the role of Master of Ceremonies. We're so lucky to have you again. And an extra special thanks to Greg Clone and GK Sound for stepping up to help us create a meaningful event during this unprecedented time of social distancing. Fantastic job, guys. Thanks. Thank you. Okay, so the first Sports Hall of Fame Awards banquet is headed up by Frank Demore, and it was held in 1990. The Kamloops Sports Council has partnered in the event since the beginning and has had the honor of including our own achievement awards. As most of you know, the Kamloops Sports Hall of Fame is now being wholly operated by the Kamloops Sports Council. The original Hall of Fame Selection Committee remains intact and works as an autonomous directorate within the Sports Council to maintain the integrity of the selection process. So I'd like to acknowledge the fantastic support of the City of Kamloops that gives us to the Sports Council in hosting the hall, which is located at Turner Capital Center. We're honored to be entrusted with the important piece of Kamloops history. So in speaking of history, 2020 will go down as one of the most unique and challenging years ever. I'd like to go off script for a moment and give an update on Sports Council operations. The Kamloops Sports Council has remained intact and operational through this pandemic. And we were able to quickly pivot from primarily event management operations to increasing our support to our local sports organizations. We support LSOs with their operations, granting requests, advocacy, and most importantly, their return to play planning. During this time, we've developed a number of key programs that will greatly enhance both sports and events in Kamloops. And I couldn't be prouder of how our staff have embraced the new challenges and quickly turned a disaster into positive initiatives that will make Kamloops even better as we navigate how to operate over the next few years. Duncan Olsius, Alex DeChantel, Elsa Poppleton, and Kara Karpluk, we've leaned on you hard and you've responded like champions. And I wish there was an award we could be giving you all tonight. Okay, so from all of us, thank you. Yeah. Okay, and I'd also like to recognize John Pankuch and Jan Anton from our board that put in countless extra hours along with ourselves helping us set the new directions. So back to the program. On behalf of the Sports Council Board of Directors and the Hall of Fame Committee, I'd like to congratulate all of this year's Hall of Fame inductees, as well as all the Kamloops Sports Council nominees. You've all accomplished so much, and your contributions add to the fantastic Kamloops sports legacy that we all take so much pride in. Now I'd like to turn the event back over to our Master of Ceremonies, Delana.
Thanks, Henry. That's what MC stands for, I just learned. No, I'm just kidding. All right, next up we have a video from His Worship, Kamloops Mayor Ken Christian.
Hello and welcome to the virtual Sports Hall of Fame banquet. You've joined an elite group of people that are watching today. You're the same people that watched us do a virtual Canada Day. You've watched virtual graduation ceremonies, and now here we are at the virtual Hall of Fame banquet. But I don't want that to diminish the contribution from the people that I see on the lists before me today. Your contribution to sport in this community is commendable. And sport is what Kamloops is about. Sport is what we built this city on, the tournament capital moniker and the commitment that sports lends to the wellness of the citizens of Kamloops. So I want to briefly thank Henry Perrell, of course, the president of the Kamloops Sports Council, for this opportunity, and the staff of the Sports Council, including Kara Karpluk, for organizing this event. It's a list that really is punctuated by the who's who of sport. As I go down and I look at the Master Athlete, the University Award, International Award, Coach of the Year, Team of the Year, and the Male and Female Athletes of the Year, these are people who have done so much in their careers, committed so much to their particular sport, and I wish all of the nominees success tonight. There's a special individual for the Excellence Award that I won't give up just yet, but that's an individual known to me and someone that is known to sport in this community, that participates and coaches and does so much. The inductees into the Kamloops Sports Hall of Fame, this is your ceremony. To Terry Bangen, Michelle Pye, Kim Scott Kryger, Brad Yamaoka, Ray Olsen, and the Eve Skakun Rink. These are individuals that have a storied history in the sporting legacy of Kamloops, and you are so worthy of being inducted into the Kamloops Sports Hall of Fame. From the mayor and from the council of the city of the Kamloops, congratulations and have a wonderful event.
Yes. Opening up our awards tonight, please join us in recognizing our first award category of the evening for 2019 with the Masters Athlete of the Year. This award is sponsored by the Royal Canadian Legion Branch 52, and the nominations for Masters Athlete of the Year are Miriam Cavani for athletics. Miriam is the BC record holder and gold medalist in high jump for women's 55 plus at the BC Masters Outdoor Championships, and she is the Canadian Outdoor Masters record holder and gold medalist. She is the 2019 Indoor Canadian Champion with a gold medal in high jump and a gold medal in the long jump, breaking her own BC record twice. Kate Stebbings for Ironman triathlons. The distance of a full Ironman is made up of 3.8 kilometers swimming, 180 kilometers bike riding, and a 42-kilometer run. Kate completed the Challenge Roth in Germany, which is a full triathlon, and placed in first in her category. She also placed fourth in her category at the Kona Ironman World Championships. The distance of a half Ironman is a 1.9-kilometer swim, a 90-kilometer bike ride, and a 21-kilometer run. Kate finished in first place in her category at the Calgary Ironman with a time of 70.3 minutes. She's also completed the Victoria Ironman with a second place finish with a time of 70.3 minutes. Mike Stewart-Smith for cycling. Mike has a long list of accomplishments in cycling, including placing silver in road race, silver in hill climb, and bronze in the time trial in the BC 55 plus games in his 75 to 79 competitive category. Mike has also participated in numerous other grasslands club and local races, including the 28-kilometer road race, the 14-kilometer time trial, Mount Lolo hill climb, Australian Pursuit, and the Ashcroft Hell climb. Mike has also participated in the Seattle to Portland ride in June, representing Kamloops and the Interior Grassland Cycling Club. And the award for Masters Athlete of the Year for 2019 goes to Kate Stebbings for her accomplishments in Ironman triathlons. Congratulations, Kate, and everything that you're doing in your sport. Let's welcome Kate for a few words as Kamloops Sports Council's Masters Athlete of the Year.
Thank you to the Kamloops Sports Council for this recognition and to the Legion Branch 52 for their sponsorship of this award. I'd also like to congratulate my fellow finalists, Mike Stewart-Smith and Marianne Cavani, for their efforts and achievements in our community. I'm honored to be in a cohort of athletes who continue to pursue new goals throughout every stage of their lives. Triathlon is an individual sport, but none of us could achieve our goals without the support of so many others. I want to thank my coaches, first Maurice Mayer, who took me from a terrified fledgling athlete and took me to a Kona podium in 3 years. And then when he retired, I moved to Johnny Caron, who continues to challenge me to be excellent in the sport. I also want to thank my training buddies and friends. It takes a special type of friendship to get up at 5 a.m. and swim 4 kilometers to support your buddy to reach their goals. And those of you who ran with me in the rain and brought joy to the hard runs, thank you. You know who you are. I'd also like to acknowledge the young people that train with me. You let me forget that I'm a master's athlete as I take my turn pulling into the wind on a hard, long ride. But mostly, I want to thank my wingman, my bike mechanic, and my sometimes sports psychologist, my husband, Bob Sayre, who continues to support my efforts and is critical to my success. I'd like to close by just encouraging athletes of all ages to continue to pursue their goals and to reach and to make new achievements. My sport is triathlon, but in reality, it's no different than those of you who are working towards your first 5 kilometer or maybe a new personal best on that Strava segment. So congratulations to all the athletes tonight, and thank you again to the Kamloops Sports Council for this recognition.
She's not here, but we can clap. All right, our next award of the night is the University Award. These athletes are committed to their sports programs at Thompson Rivers University and have shown amazing levels of excellence in their sport, along with completing full-time studies. This award is sponsored by Thompson Rivers University Athletics, and this year's nominees for the University Award are Jan Paredes Glassmacher for TRU men's soccer. Jan became captain of the men's soccer team and was named a first-team Canada West All-Star, as well as a U Sports Academic All-Canadian. He was the first TRU player ever to be drafted by a Canadian Professional Soccer League team, going 3rd overall to Pacifica FC. Olga Savinchuk for TRU women's volleyball. Olga was a first-team Canada West All-Star in her first year with TRU for the volleyball team. She led the team to their first ever playoff win against Alberta. Olga was ranked 4th overall in the entire Canada West Conference for kills. Tim Dobert for TRU men's volleyball. Tim finished his university career by being named U Sports Academic All-Canadian for the 2nd straight year and was a Canada West and U Sports First Team All-Star. He was also the first TRU player to be a U Sports First Team All-Canadian since Brad Gunter in 2015 and 2016. And the winner of the University Award for 2019 is Jan Paredes Glassmacher. Congrats, Jan, and congrats on your future endeavors with Pacifica FC. Let's welcome Jan to say a few words as the new Kamloops Sports Council's University Award recipient.
Thank you. I'm very honored to receive the University Award, and I just want to thank all the coaching staff and all the players I play with. Thank you.
Short but sweet, I love that. Our next award of the night is the presentation of the International Excellence Award. This award is given to an athlete who is competing at an international level. The International Excellence Award is sponsored by Pacific Sport Interior, BC. This year's nominees are Greg Stewart for athletics and shot put. Greg is a celebrated multi-sport athlete. He is a gold medalist at the Canadian National Senior Championships in shot put. He also competed at the World Championships, receiving a silver medal, also finishing with a silver medal at the Pan American Games. Sonette Lessing for athletics. Sinet represented Canada in the 2019 North Central American and Caribbean Masters Athletic Championships in the women's 50 to 54 category. She received a gold medal in long jump with a new Canadian record. She placed gold in high jump and bronze in 80-meter hurdles with a new BC record. Sinet was also a silver medalist in women's pentathlon, scoring 3,388 for a new BC record. TRU Wolfpack Cheer Team Black for cheerleading. The TRU Wolfpack Cheer Team Black placed first in their win at the Western Cheerific Championship in Edmonton, Alberta, also winning a full paid bid to compete at the highest level in collegiate sports down in Orlando, Florida, the University World Cup Cheerleading Championship. The UWCC is an international competition that features teams from Canada, the USA, Japan, China, Mexico, Puerto Rico, and the UK. Team Black placed 5th at the UWCC in 2020. The International Excellence Award for 2019 goes to Greg Stewart. Congrats, Greg, for all of your current and future achievements. Let's welcome Greg to say a few words as the new Kamloops Sports Council's International Excellence Award recipient.
I just really wanted to thank the Kamloops Sports Council for, recognizing my efforts last year. Last year was really huge back in Dubai, throwing a personal best and also being able to become number 2 in the world was a huge, huge success for mine. I also want to, put a lot of thanks out there for Dylan. He's been there the whole step of the way for me, allowing me to become that much of a better athlete. And then also the support of my family, my friends, and the Kamloops community, because without you guys, I may not be doing what I'm doing because, I'm here to support my country, Canada, and, we're all in this together. So thank you very much.
Our next award of the night is for the 2019 Coach of the Year. This award is given to a coach who has not only led their athletes to high levels of success, but helped to grow their sport and develop athletics in their discipline. The Coach of the Year award is sponsored by Tim Hortons and John Pancouch, and this year's nominees are Victor Lizzie for coaching soccer. Victor was the coach of the Kamloops Blaze 2003 boys soccer team. This team won the Kelowna Easter Tournament, the Kaisa Slurpee Cup, the TOYSL League Gold Medal, the Regional Interior Championship, and the BC Les Sinet Provincial Soccer Championship. The team went undefeated for the last 23 games of the season, including all 4 games in the Provincial Championship. They were also the first Kamloops boys soccer team to win a provincial championship in 11 years, and the 3rd boys team to win in the past 25 years. Del Komarninski for coaching basketball. Del has led the South Kamloops secondary girls basketball team to 2 consecutive provincial AA championships. Dylan Armstrong for coaching athletics. Dylan is the coach of Matthew Arnold in hammer throw, who is currently ranked 3rd in Canada. He also coaches Basil Spencer in high jump. Basil is a gold medalist at the BC Provincial Championships. He was a gold medalist at the Canadian Junior National Championships, as well as the BC High School Championships. He is the coach of Ryan Jacklin in javelin triple, who placed gold at the Canadian National Legions. Dylan is also the coach of Greg Stewart, who is the gold medalist at the Canadian National Senior Championships, silver medalist at the World Championships, and the silver medalist at the Pan American Games. And our winner of the 2019 Coach of the Year award is Dylan Armstrong. Congrats, Dylan. Dylan unfortunately had other commitments and was unable to film a thank you video, but he definitely is appreciative of his win for Coach of the Year. Our next award of the night is the presentation for the 2019 Team of the Year. This award is given to a team who had amazing accomplishments as a group in their select discipline. The Team of the Year award is sponsored by the Kamloops Sports Legacy Fund, and this year's nominees for Team of the Year are TRU Wolfpack Cheer Team Black. The TRU Wolfpack Cheer Team Black placed first in their win at the Western Cheerific Championship in Edmonton, Alberta, also winning a full paid bid to compete at the highest level in collegiate sports down in Orlando, Florida, the University World Cup Cheerleading Championship. The UWCC is an international competition that features teams from Canada, the USA, Japan, China, Mexico, Puerto Rico, and the UK. Team Black placed 5th at the UWCC in 2020. Kamloops Blaze 2003 boys soccer team. They were the winners of the Kelowna Easter Tournament, the Kaiser Slurpee Cup, the TOYSL League Gold Medal, the Regional Interior Championship, and the BC Les Sinnet Provincial Soccer Championship. The team went undefeated for the last 23 games of the season, including all 4 games in the Provincial Championship. They were the first Kamloops boys soccer team to win a provincial championship in 11 years, and the 3rd boys team to win in the past 25 years. South Kamloops Secondary School girls basketball team. These women won the AA Provincial Championship for the 2nd year in a row in 2019. Maddie Gobay and Olivia Morin-Churches were named All-Stars for the tournament. And this year's Team of the Year is the SKSS girls basketball team. Congrats, ladies, on the win. Let's welcome the SKSS girls basketball team to say a few words as the new Kamloops Sports Council's Team of the Year.
We would like to thank the Kamloops Sports Council for awarding us today, and we'd also like to congratulate the other finalists.
And we'd also like to thank our families, friends, coaches, and teachers for helping us achieve this award.
Our next award of the night is the presentation for the 2019 Female Athlete of the Year. This award is given to a young woman who has shown amazing accomplishments in their sport. The Female Athlete of the Year award is sponsored by the LN Group Marketing and Promotions. This year's nominees are Brooke Wills for rodeo. Brooke has earned the top national ladies barrel racing title at the 2019 Canadian Finals Rodeo in Red Deer, Alberta. She is currently ranked 59th in pro rodeo world standings. Maddie Gobay for basketball. Maddie was named tournament MVP at the AA Provincials for the 2nd year in a row, with her team the South Kamloops Secondary School provincial champions. Kaylee Silversides for rugby. Kaylee is the Senior Female Athlete of the Year at Westside Secondary School for the 2019 season. She has won Female Athlete at WSS for the last 5 years in all grades from 8 to 12. And she was named the 2019 overall female MVP for the Kamloops Rugby Sevens tournament in October of 2019. The team placed 1st, the KRC Raiders Junior U18. And the winner of the 2019 Female Athlete of the Year award is Brooke Wills. Congratulations, Brooke. It is well deserved. Let's welcome Brooke to say a few words as the new Kamloops Sports Council's Female Athlete of the Year.
I'd like to thank the Kamloops Sports Council for recognizing me as the Female Athlete of the Year. Not only am I very honored to receive this award, but I hope I can be an inspiration to all upcoming barrel racers and rodeo athletes. Barrel racing and rodeo can be a very humbling sport, and I just want to encourage others, not only in rodeo, but in all sports, to follow their passion and dreams, and with perseverance, anything can happen. I have been riding since I was 2 years old and started competing in rodeo at the age of 4. Barrel racing for me is not just a sport, but a lifestyle or a way of life that I am proud to represent. Being a professional barrel racer takes hours of practice, dedication, and hard work. You are often away from home for long periods of time, and it takes great mental strength to get you through the ups and downs of rodeo. It can be a tough grind with all the driving and miles we cover to make it to the rodeo on time, and the sport is definitely not for the faint of heart. We compete in any condition, whether it be mud, freezing rain, or blistering heat. My successful year could not have happened without my great support system. I had awesome traveling partners, very supportive parents, and a great boyfriend. Through all of this, the most important job for me is taking care of my horses. They are the first thing I tend to in the morning and the last thing I see before I go to bed at night. They require so much attention, making sure they are healthy and happy and in top condition for each barrel racing competition. I'm very fortunate to have my amazing horse, Famey. She is truly a gifted equine athlete who loves her job and made all of my dreams come true. I'm excited to continue representing Kamloops in the future as I continue my career in barrel racing across North America. Congratulations to my fellow nominees, and thank you so much to the sponsors for all the awards. This award is truly an honor, not just for me, but for my horse and the sport of barrel racing as well. Thank you.
Obviously, very well spoken. Our next award of the night is the presentation for the 2019 Male Athlete of the Year. This award is given to a young man who has shown amazing accomplishments in their sports and perseverance. The Male Athlete of the Year award is sponsored by Kamloops Minor Baseball, and this year's nominees are Basil Spencer for high jump in athletics. Basil was the gold medalist at the Canadian National Junior Championships. Basil Spencer for high jump in athletics. Basil was the gold medalist at the Canadian National Basil Spencer for high jump in athletics. Basil was the gold medalist at the Canadian National Junior Championship. Basil Spencer for high jump in athletics. Basil was the gold medalist at the Canadian National Junior Championships. He was also the gold medalist at the Provincial Championships as well as the BC High School Championships. Kian Zabihi for athletics. Kian is the Canadian National Champion in hammer throw. He is the gold medalist at the Provincial Championships as well as at the BC High School Championships. Riley McRae for swimming. Riley was the first TRU swimmer to compete at the U Sports Nationals. He was qualified for Olympic trials, which unfortunately were not held due to COVID-19. He's also a member of Canada's junior open water swim team and competed in 2 events in Spain and Quebec. This year's Male Athlete of the Year is Kian Zabihi. Congratulations, and we're actually going to welcome Kian to say a few words as the new Kamloops Sports Council's Male Athlete of the Year recipient.
I'd like to thank the Kamloops Sports Council for nominating me as the Male Athlete of the Year. It means a lot to be named the Athlete of the Year. Also, big thanks to my coach, Jonah Armstrong, and the Kamloops Track and Field Club for letting me be a part of the club and represent the city of Kamloops. I'd never have gotten this far without my parents pushing me along the way, moving to Kamloops just so I can come here and train. Look forward to my future representing the city of the Kamloops.
All right, we have one more award to distribute tonight. The Award of Excellence is an award that is not given out every year, but only when the council sees that an exemplary level of excellence is displayed in sport and service above and beyond expectation. This year we have an incredibly special recipient of this award. He has persevered through major adversity in his own life and still shown incredible dedication to coaching and developing athletes in his sport, in addition to also having a full-time job outside of his coaching. The recipient of the Kamloops Sports Council Award of Excellence goes to Carmen Mazzotta. Carmen, a former national and provincial champion track and field athlete, as well as an NCAA athlete at the University of North Carolina, Asheville, has been the head coach of the TRU cross-country team since 2015. His dedication to his cross-country athletes is above and beyond just being their coach, but providing mentorship and inspiration in all aspects of life. Congrats, Carmen. Let's welcome him to say a few words as the new Kamloops Sports Council's Award of Excellence recipient.
I'd like to start by saying I'm humbled and honored to be recognized in this way. I'd like to take a couple minutes and share a bit about my story. I had a lot of success as a middle distance runner in the Kamloops Track and Field Club during my high school years and ended up landing a scholarship to a D1 NCAA university. Unfortunately, in university, I consistently struggled with injuries and anemia. It was far from an ideal student-athlete experience, to say the least. So when Jack Miller and Ken Olynyk approached me about coaching the TRU cross-country team, it was a chance to re-engage in the competitive side of the sport in a different way. I would be able to give back to the sport and the community, and I would have the opportunity to do what I could to help a group of student athletes have a more positive and healthy university experience, where they could grow not only in sport, but as people. In 2017, I was diagnosed with testicular cancer. I had a procedure and went right back to my normal routine. When cancer came back in 2018, this time in the lymph nodes of my abdomen, the surgery was a little more severe. I spent 6 days in the hospital and another month at home recovering. That fall, I had to take time off work and I had to step away from coaching. As usual, the Kamloops sports community came in strong. A group of local runners helped coach practices and drive the student athletes to races. The team did not miss a beat. As soon as I could walk around relatively pain-free, I was back out at practice. I quickly went back to coaching, but I began to realize that I was wearing myself thin. I was working a full-time job and trying to be the head coach of a university cross-country team off the side of my desk while battling some health issues. I knew that despite my care and concern for the student athletes I was coaching, the healthy move for me was to step away. I view my time coaching the Wolfpack cross-country team as a blessing, and I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to work with such a committed and positive group of student athletes. Thank you for letting me share a few words, and thank you to the Kamloops Sports Council and the Sport Awards Committee for the honor. Most of all, thank you to all of the TRU student athletes who I've had the privilege to coach and to learn from over the past 6 years.
Without a doubt, deserving of that award. That concludes our Kamloops Sports Council Athletic Awards portion of the evening. Congratulations to all of our nominees and our award recipients. Your contributions to your sport are exceptional, and you have made Kamloops proud. The Kamloops Sports Hall of Fame honors the athletic community for their efforts in bringing to our city provincial, national, and international recognition. The Sports Hall of Fame is celebrating its 30th anniversary this year with the induction of 5 individuals and 1 team. In order to be inducted, 3 prerequisites must be met: commitment, dedication, and sportsmanship. This class of 2020 is nothing short of true Kamloops treasures in sport. Here's our first inductee of the evening. Terry Bangen. Our first inductee of the evening is hockey's Terry Bangen. With a long coaching career that now spans almost 6 decades at all levels of play, Terry not only had a major helping hand in 3 Kamloops Blazers Memorial Cup titles in the 1991-92, 1993-94, and 1994-95 seasons, but he's also been on coaching staff for teams such as the Vancouver Canucks, McGill University, UBC, the Tri-City Americans, and the Worcester Railers. I'd like to welcome up Terry to say a few words.
Thank you. Thank you. Fellow Hall of Fame inductees, ladies and gentlemen, It is indeed an honor to be selected to the Hall of Fame. An occasion such as this causes one to reflect on how people and circumstances have created and influenced your sport career. As a young boy in small-town northern Alberta, I never dreamed of the opportunities that lay ahead. Coaching at the college, major junior, under 17, under 18, and national junior and NHL levels. After university and initial experiences in entry-level jobs, my wife Marg and I faced a career choice early in our marriage. Whether to accept an offer to join the athletic department at Caribou College plus coach their hockey team. We wanted to venture on our own and start our own story, so we did. This turned out to be a positive, life-changing decision. An interesting phenomena about life experiences seems to be that the first year of something completely new is the one that sticks in your memory bank forever, no matter how long that experience lasts. This certainly seems to be the case for us, and amazingly, 4 in particular who shared that initial year in Kamloops have remained close friends, including their families, ever since. Pat O'Brien, a longtime college athletic director, Hall of Fame member, mentor. Ron Tanishi, college hockey team manager, 61 trail smoke eater historian, confident. Darryl Mounsey, college hockey player, First Nations leader. Lindsay Karpluk, Hall of Fame member, individual and team, sees his mother inducted this year. His parents adopted us shortly after our arrival in Kamloops, a coaching colleague. After 20 years of athletic administration at Caribou, the last 6 of which were also spent on the coaching staff of the Blazers, where lifelong relationships were forged with fellow coaches Ken Hitchcock, Tom Rennie, and in particular Don Hay, and rekindled at the recent Blazer reunion activities, Marg and I began to discuss a possible next step. Do we stay in our comfort zone here, or do we explore possible career options? Our 2 children obviously were a factor. We finally decided on the latter and soon were given an opportunity that defied comfort. After much agonizing, we chose to take a leap of faith, clearly not knowing where it would lead. As Helen Keller said, life is either a daring adventure, or nothing at all. The next 15 years proved anything but comfortable. Montreal for 1 year, then Vancouver, Tri-City, Calgary, Tri-City again, with Marg maintaining a home base in Vancouver. And finally, a return to Kamloops, which was always the long-term plan. The past 10 years have allowed for a 3-year return to the Blazers and a great deal of travel, particularly to Europe, which included side opportunities to observe player and team development in the traditional hockey countries that we visited. A cliche about a lifetime in sport is that it keeps you feeling young, adds years to your life and life to your years. I certainly concur with that. Obviously, personal relationships, which I alluded to earlier, become even more relevant as time passes. I also strongly believe that the philosophy of lifelong learning has direct application, certainly in hockey. The skills and tactics have advanced, the game has changed dramatically, technology has had a huge impact, all of which requires coaches to constantly strive to improve their abilities and knowledge. Such is the positive challenge. In conclusion, I would like to thank my family, my wife Marg, our daughter Kirsten, and our son Kyle for their support, patience, understanding, and shared attitudes to change and new journeys over the years. As Frederick Backman in his novel Beartown states, hockey is never satisfied being part of your life. It wants to be all of it. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. It takes a real team member and leader to recognize the others who have supported your journey. I'd also like to remind the award recipients to make sure that you pick those up, as I don't want to hand them to you, precautions and all. Okay, please welcome our next inductee. Kim Scott Kryger. The Hall welcomes its first figure skating representative with the election of Kim Scott Kryger, who was on the radar as a competitor in figure skating in the 1980s before turning her attention to coaching. All right, please welcome the 2020 Kamloops Sports Hall of Fame inductee, Kim Scott Kryger.
Thank you very much. Good evening, and thank you for the wonderful evening tonight. I began skating at the age of 6 at the Memorial Arena, and everybody knows how cold it is there. And where coincidentally, we lived right across the street in a house which still stands there today. Gloria Milliard was a family friend who encouraged my parents to enroll me in group lessons. I quickly advanced out of group lessons because I couldn't stay still long enough with the rest of the group, so I went right into private lessons. I found my niche in singles as it allowed me to be athletic and creative. By 7 years old, I was spending my summers away from home in skating schools and was very homesick, but following my passion. My parents, Ray and Stella Scott, supported my career in what was and still is a very expensive sport. The ice time, private lessons, custom-made skates, and travel all added to the cost. My mother handmade all of my dresses and beaded them. And once we moved out of town to Knutsford, they took turns driving me to all my practices, which were 6 days a week, starting at 6 a.m., after school and weekends. I remember on one occasion, I was practicing and I caught a glimpse of my dad. He was wearing a cowboy hat and he was walking along the mezzanine and he was hiding behind each of the posts, if you've ever been to Memorial Arena. And he quietly came down to the boards and he motioned me over to the boards. So I went over and he said, "I want you to go in, take off your skates, and I'll meet you up at the truck." So I did it, and as we got into the truck, I said, "Dad, what was that for?" And he said, "Well, if you're not going to utilize your ice time, I've got chores to do." So we went home, and my parents never pushed me. I was always a hardworking person who loved my sport, and I was very passionate. So I really understood what he was saying. But Dad would get me up at 5 a.m. in the morning, and we'd go out to the riding rink, and the snow was about this deep, really deep, and we'd run together. He was so sweet, and he would help me all the time. I would do my jumps in the front lawn because there wasn't ice sometimes with the Cupid strike, which really put a damper on training. And I began winning more and more competitions. And in 1974, I qualified for the BC sectionals in the junior ladies event. I ended up stunning the crowd in Vancouver and winning with my very talented coach, Sherry Biagioni. From then on, I lived part-time in Vancouver and trained at the North Shore Winter Club, which was the hub of producing champions, including Karen Magnuson, if you're old enough to remember who that is. And I was coached by, my first coach, his name was Eddie Rada. He was a German Olympian medalist, and he was tough. He ruled with an iron fist, but a very kind, soft heart. After that, I was coached by Karen Magnuson's coach, Linda Brockman, who was a master at compulsory figures, my weakness, because it was so boring to practice going around in circles all the time. All I wanted to do was jump and spin. So anyway, I entered my first Western Canadian Championships and placed third, which led me to my first nationals in Quebec City, where I placed low in the compulsory figures event again, but I was third in the short program and second in the long program, which brought me up to fifth overall. There's where I saw all of my idols. Taller Cranston, amazing, came up to me and told me how wonderful he thought I was. I'll never forget that feeling ever. I became the first skater in Kamloops in 25 years to pass my gold compulsory figure test, which took 2.5 hours to complete at the cold Memorial Arena. In 1976, I won the junior and seniors events at the BC sectionals and placed second in the Western Canadian event and fourth in nationals in Calgary. In August of 1977, I was invited to the Grand Prix International competitions in Saint-Gervais, France. And just for the record, while I was in Saint-Gervais, that's when Elvis Presley passed away. And I remember hearing it on the streets in France. It was quite momentous. I placed fourth there, and in Germany, I placed fifth, traveling with a team. Third in the free skate, of course. Figures were my downfall, and they've since been eliminated from the sport. My one fond memory is at the Parade of Champions, I skated to A Star is Born by Barbra Streisand, and there was an arena that had just a roof, and the sun was shining in on all sides. It was glorious. It was nestled in the Nebelhorn Mountains. It was so wonderful. I'll never forget that feeling. I'll have to get back to my script, eh? Compulsory figures was my least favorite component, as I say, and it has been since deleted. My absolute favorite was free skate, as I could go as fast as I wanted and jump into the air as high as I wanted and rotate doubles and triples and land backwards on one foot. It was just a surreal feeling, and jumping and spinning and fast footwork, hard to describe, but it was wonderful. I began receiving invitations to national seminars held all over Canada, where we were trained by Canada's top coaches and off-ice conditioners during a grueling 2-week stay at universities. You'd had to pass a physical test before you were allowed to stay, so we all made sure we were on our best. The City of Kamloops were incredibly supportive of my skating career. We received grants from the Canadian Figure Skating Association, the Karen Magnuson Foundation, the Rotary, and Sir Optimist of Kamloops. I skated competitively until 1980 after an injury ended my career, and then coached in Vancouver for 15 years before moving back to Kamloops, where I coached at the Valley View Skating Club. We had a very successful skating club and were highly competitive, which did take me to nationals as a coach this time. And I was very fortunate to be a part of so many children's lives and pass on my love of skating, technical wisdom, and experiences. I'd like to thank my mom and dad, Stella and Ray Scott, for all their sacrifices, support, and love. I'd also like to thank my husband, Robert Kryger, and my children for their patience for all the hours that I had to coach and be away from home traveling to competitions. And I'd finally like to thank the Kamloops Sports Hall of Fame for this humbling honor, and congratulations to all the other inductees. And I want to say one more thing. Hi, Dad, I love you.
Congrats, Kim. That's one of the coolest parts of these awards, and what the Kamloops Sports Council does is we get to hear the coolest stories on top of recognizing pillars in our community, so that's awesome. Here's our next inductee into this year's Hall of Fame. Michelle Pye. The next inductee comes to us from soccer and humble beginnings at the Kamloops Youth Soccer Association. Michelle Pye has well served as a FIFA referee and official. She is one of only 7 international referees in Canada. She has been listed as an official at tournaments such as the 2008 FIFA U17 Women's World Cup, the 2010 Algarve Cup, the 2010 CONCACAF Women's U17 Championships, the 2010 FIFA U17 World Cup, the 2012 CONCACAF Women's U17 Championship, and the 2015 FIFA Women's World Cup, to name a few. She continues to officiate on an international level and is now a fully certified instructor in different world regions for the international soccer body. Unfortunately, Michelle could not make it tonight, but she did send us a video message for us to enjoy.
Good evening, everyone. My apologies for not being able to attend in person tonight, but I will send you my acceptance speech through a video chat, so thank you for watching. It's always such an honor to be recognized for doing something that you love. My experiences as an international soccer referee spanned dozens of countries, introduced me to many different cultures and thousands of people. But no matter where you go and how far those experiences take you, it's your roots that are the most important. And for me, the dream started here at the local parks in Kamloops, playing a game that I loved, although I've heard since that I wasn't very good at. I played soccer from the age of 5, but it wasn't until my mom saw an ad in the newspaper that I tried my hand at refereeing. If I'm being honest, it wasn't love at first sight. It was hard, and I was terrified and totally intimidated. There were many times over the years that I thought about quitting after coming home in tears after a particularly difficult game. But one of the things that I learned to love about refereeing was how hard that it was. It never got easier. It was always a challenge. And what is it that they say? Nothing worth it is ever easy. When I learned that I was going to be inducted into the Kamloops Sports Hall of Fame, I was extremely humbled. Although I no longer live in Kamloops and truthfully didn't referee here very long, Kamloops is my home. It's where my roots are, where my family is. And this is the place where I refereed my first game, got yelled at by my first player, and where I returned to every summer to strap up my boots and help out at the good old August Long tournament at Mac Park. I love coming back here to referee and reconnect with the local soccer community. They always make me feel like I am one of them. Nobody reaches the highest levels in their sport without an amazing support system, and I am blessed to have that in spades. Right from the start, my parents were always my biggest supporters. I'm pretty sure I was the only referee at the park with their own fan base. This was great until my mom decided that she wanted to beat up anybody who yelled at me, which you can imagine is pretty common when you're the referee. I've also been blessed with an incredibly supportive husband who has encouraged me to follow my dreams no matter the cost to himself. As a national referee himself, he completely understands the requirements and the pressures that it takes to operate at the highest level. He has stepped in the role of primary caregiver for our 3 young children for weeks at a time on numerous occasions. And with the support of both our families and many friends, I was able to reach the highest level of officiating, participating in the Women's World Cup in 2015. People often ask me if going to the World Cup was the highlight of my career. And to be honest, it wasn't. The thing I'm most proud of is my journey. Being a small-town girl who graduated from Norcam Secondary, taking a hobby that I enjoyed and turning it into a career that allowed me to travel the world, meet amazing people, and represent not only myself, my family, but also my country and my hometown. I was also able to do all of this while having a family, being a mom to 3 crazy kids, while not giving up on my own dreams, and showing my kids that they can accomplish anything that they set out to, with a lot of hard work, a little luck, and a strong support system. I never set out to accomplish great things in refereeing or inspire others, but sport has this crazy and incredible way of making each of us the best versions of ourselves and allowing us to reach out to give back in the same ways that those before gave to us. Being part of the Hall of Fame in Kamloops is such an honor for me. To look at the names of those who come before me and all of those who will come after is such an incredible feeling of pride and awe. Thank you so much for this recognition, and congratulations to all the other inductees this evening. Enjoy the night, and again, thank you so much.
Thanks, Michelle. I think everyone here has mad respect for good referees who improve the quality of competition. Next up is our 4th inductee of the evening, Eve Skakun Rink. Our next inductees make up our team category induction this year. The Eve Skakun Rink won 3 BC Senior Women's Championships in 1994, 1995, and 1997. The teams were made up of the late Eve Skakun, Liz Karpluk, the late Una Hazen, Sandy Allen, Janice Latta, and Kay Belanger during the title years. Please welcome up Liz Karpluk, Sandy Allen, and Janice Latta.
This is the old generation. He's moving in. Good evening, everyone. I would much rather be throwing rocks than making a speech. But on behalf of Eve, Una, Liz, and myself, a huge thank you to the Kamloops Sports Council for inducting our team into the Sports Hall of Fame. It is a real honor and much appreciated. It was a privilege representing our province in both 1994 in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, and in 1995 in St. John, New Brunswick. Both years, we managed 4th place out of the 12 provinces. It should be noted that Liz was the all-star lead in 1995. We did it for the love of the game, but also lots of fun and friendship. Eve and Una had 2 different team members in 1997, Janice Latta and Kay Belanger. They also placed 4th in Thornhill, Ontario. In closing, I would like to congratulate our fellow inductees. Thank you. But I just had to bring my Rick Folk jacket one more time.
Good. My name is Janice Latta, and I was with Eve in 1997 when we went to the championships, Canadian Championships in Thornhill, and also represented BC at the Canadian Masters in 2000. I'm actually giving this on behalf of Kay Belanger, who couldn't be here. So I will start off by just saying good evening. It is the night of celebration for all inductees who have been selected into the 2020 Kamloops Sports Hall of Fame. Congratulations to all. One of those inductees is Eve Skakun. Eve would have been so honored to receive such an award. Kay Belanger and I curled with Eve for some time. Eve loved the game and was a great curler. Some of her strengths were her call of the game as well as her draw weight, which many times saved us. Eve was successful in winning many bonspils, both ladies and mixed. She also won the club zones, the provincials, and the senior ladies nationals 3 times. In 1997, Eve, myself, Kay, and Una traveled to Thornhill, Ontario for the Senior Ladies Curling Nationals. We placed 4th and had a record of 7-4. In closing, we will forever cherish the good curling, good times, laughs, friendships, and maybe a few tears. If I had a glass of wine, I would say cheers.
Those are definitely the ladies. I don't know if you've ever been to the Kamloops Curling Club, but if you're curling in one of the community leagues, those are the people you want to get advice from. All right, here is our final inductee of, oh, nope, sorry, not final inductee. Here is our next inductee of the evening. Ray Olsen. Our next inductee is another devoted curler. He dedicated his life to curling as a curler himself, a coach, as well as an administrator. He was named the Curl BC Coach of the Year after guiding a senior boys Westside Secondary School team to a BC high school title. All right. Ray, do you want to come up and say a few words? Welcome, Ray.
Double space, so it won't take long. Wow, I never thought that this small town boy from Terrace Bay, Northern Ontario, would ever be inducted into a Hall of Fame. Rick Wilde said, "I guess it's your turn." Greetings, Hall of Fame Committee, and congrats to my fellow inductees. I am thankful and honored. Thank you, Kathy, for your persistence and other contributors for your input. My involvement with curling started in grade 8 many years ago, and in high school became a draw master. I arrived in Kamloops in 1974, became involved with the Kamloops Curling Club in the late 70s, working as a volunteer on the Crown of Curling and the Kamloops Curling Club executive. I was president in 1982 and 83 season. We applied for the 1986 Canadian Mixed Championship and received confirmation in early 85. I was a co-chair with Marge Higgins and Dawn Fisher. In 1988, I started taking level 1 coaching course. This is my family, Ray, Sharon, Grant, and Lori, took over the Saturday morning junior program and ran it for 10 years. We also ran the Saturday morning junior closed bonspiel and the jam can bonspiel. The 96 Brier in Kamloops piqued the interest of junior curling, and our numbers shot up from 40 to 48 teams in the 94-95 season to 78 teams in the 96-97 seasons. That's a full draw, that's 5 full draws, only playing games. The Jam Can Bonspiel generated 96 teams in the 94-95 season and 128 teams in the 96-97 seasons. About this time, a lady showed up from the Rock, which is Newfoundland, wanting to volunteer, and we talked about instruction for these kids to learn to curl. Mickey Colburn was her name. She jumped all over that challenge by organizing, recruiting, and ensuring all sheets had instructors. She also coached the junior girls team competitively. Unfortunately, after a few years, they moved to Vancouver Island. Darn. In 2011, I was approached by the MacArthur Island Curling Club to run a Learn to Curl program. So we found 14 volunteers, ran them through a competitive coaching course, started the Learn to Curl program that fall with 47 participants. The club was able to restart their Monday Open League and their Friday Night Mixed League. After 5 years and 340 participants put through the program, I retired. At this time, I would like to address volunteers who helped me run most events. My son and daughter, Grant and Lori, right in front here, started pulling names out of a hat to make draws on our dining room table, and all they could do was kneel in the chairs. My wife, Sharon, who we lost in April of 2017, used her business skills to take registration and account for curling dues. The thing she loved to do the most was buy merchandise prizes for bonspiels, making sure that the team that had the last pick had at least 8 prizes to choose from. Grant and Lori still do this type of volunteer work, running spiels and buying prizes. To the many other volunteers who helped run these events, I can't say thanks enough times, because we can't do this work without your assistance, so thanks again. Finally, I'd like to discuss some of the many curlers that I worked with. Lori and Grant come to mind first, of course, and foremost. They both went to many provincials and a few nationals. Unfortunately, I don't have the luxury of time here to mention all teams and all players. Okay, so in 2018, Brian Yamada's team from Westside High School won the gold medal at the BC Winter Games held in Kamloops, and the following year won the 2018-2019 BC High School Sports gold medal at the Golden Years Curling Club, Maple Ridge, in curling. Curling with Brian on that team was Daniel, Nolan, and Xander. Congrats, guys. Thanks to Brent and Carrie for their technical assistance. Some of this has already been on here, but I've got it here, so I got to read it. So, I was awarded the 2015 Life Membership at the Kamloops Curling Club. In 2016, I was Curl BC Elsie McKenzie's Curling Volunteer Award, co-winning with Brenda Norden. 2018, coached Lori's team, my daughter's team, to win the pick in Richmond en route to the Miramichi Club Championship playdown. 2019, Curl BC Anita Cochran Coach Award of the Year. In closing, that's 30 years of curling in a nutshell. We, as in Grant, Lori, and myself, are humbled and honored to receive this award and be amongst these guys over here. And other previous winners, Diane Barker, Jim and Rick Cotter, Barry McPhee, and Sue Vickers. Thank you very much. I'll just do it that way.
All right, congrats again to Ray. Those curling bonspiels take a mad level of organization and leadership to run smoothly, so yeah. No. That's why you're being inducted. Okay, thanks, Ray. Next up is our final inductee of the evening. Brad Yamaoka. Our final inductee of the evening will be rounded out by Brad Yamaoka. He has already been inducted into the BC Football Hall of Fame as of last October. He now coaches in Kamloops, but spent 7 years playing in the CFL for both the BC Lions and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, after a 5-year stint at UBC, where he spearheaded the Thunderbirds' ground game. Congrats. Please welcome Brad Yamaoka to the 2020 Hall of Fame.
Thank you very much. You know, it's funny, I was talking with my wife a little earlier today about how I'm kind of nervous and a little bit self-conscious about speaking in front of a lot of people, but then we realized I ran around on national TV in really tight pants. So this shouldn't be so bad, right? So hopefully I'll muddle through this and hopefully we can get out of here in a reasonable time frame. So first off, I'd like to say that I'm extremely grateful and humbled to be included in the class of 2020 and to have my story be part of the Kamloops Sports Hall of Fame. I just want to thank the Kamloops Sports Council for this great honor and to say congratulations to all the other inductees. I've always been proud of being from Kamloops, and when I left to go to university and then on to the CFL, I was always made a point to let people know I was from Kamloops. Things have kind of come full circle for me now, as back in 1991, you saw a picture of that moment up on the screen. I was the first male athlete of the year for the Sports Council Awards. We had a small gathering, pretty much like this, I guess, at the Stockman's Hotel. I was actually presented the award by Michael Gray from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, which was a team that actually I went on to play for many years later, so that was quite a nice story to say. Sport has always been part of my life in one way or another. Like many of us here today, it has defined who we are. I would like to use my time here to recognize some of the people who have influenced me and who were part of my journey in sport. Like anyone who plays team sports, you're never in it alone. I've had the opportunity to call some extremely talented individuals from Kamloops teammates over the years. These people forced me to work harder or be left behind. So I'm going to name drop some people, so hopefully just bear with me. So first off, a good friend of mine, Chris Chan, who I played rugby with at Valley View Cam High and the Kamloops Rugby Club. We were both national champions with the BC U17 provincial team. I'll let you guys do the math on how long ago that was. He's still heavily involved with the Kamloops Rugby Club to this day. Casey Olinick, who I played basketball and football with. He was a provincial all-star, went on to play basketball at UVic. He was actually nominated in 1991 for Male Athlete of the Year, the year I won. Justin Ring, who went on to play in the CFL. John Seri, who in my mind is the best lineman to come out of Kamloops over the years. We were teammates actually at Dallas Elementary, Valley View Junior High, Cam High, and then again at UBC. Brent Othius, who also went to UBC to play football. Brian McLean, Sean Siklowski, Mike Rokoff, Thomas Chow, Dale Bond. You can look them up. All part of our 1990 Cam High football team that won a provincial title. Without those guys, any of the success that I have wouldn't be possible. Later in my career in Winnipeg, I had I was fortunate, to play with Dave Van Conant, a West Side grad, and Spencer McLennan, who is actually also inducted in the Kamloops Hall of Fame. Of course, there were many coaches who have influenced me over the years. Coach Othius, who taught me never to show any weakness. I'm not sure really if we're allowed to coach that way anymore, so you might have some phone calls from parents, but that's the way they coached us back in those days. Coach Buckham, who taught me to work harder than your opponent. Again, if you didn't work hard, he would make you. Coach Powells, who taught me never to settle. No matter how good of a game I thought I played, he would always have something more for me to work on. Coach Bond, who taught me to have fun. So for those Cam High guys here who are watching, know that he always told those dirty jokes before the football games when we walked out on the field. So that was always one of the highlights of the night before a football game for us. Coach Loader, who taught me no matter how much you think you know, somebody always knows more. He almost broke my hand teaching me that lesson, and I can tell you that story later. Coach Carswell, who taught me to be part of the community and to give back where I can. Moving on to university, I had Coach Frank Smith and Casey Smith at UBC. They gave me the opportunity to fulfill my dreams. And as a pro, Coach Adam Rita with BC and Dave Ritchie with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, who showed me that family is always first, even in the world of pro sports. I wanted to save this coach for last, Coach Glenn Armstrong, who was my first football coach at Valley View. He set the foundation for me as a football player. His enthusiasm was only surpassed by his immense knowledge of the game. He was a master of teaching the skills that young first players need. The thing that it was not always about skill with him. He was a mentor in the truest sense of the word. He taught all his players leadership, citizenship, and most of all sportsmanship. Not so much by the way he lectured us, but by his demeanor and actions. The 6 a.m. pickup at the Petrocan so he can take us up to Gold's Gym for workouts before school. The many camps he coached at and made sure we were there to improve our skills. The trip to Vancouver so we could play in BC Place before a BC Lions game. And so many more experiences that helped mold the player and person I would eventually become. Many of these attributes I've carried with me throughout my playing and coaching career. To all these people and to many others who were part of my story, thank you. Finally, I want to say a huge thank you to my family, to my brothers Randy and Corey for leading the way. Their involvement in sport was a catalyst for me when I was young. To my wife Christine and my kids who tolerate all the hours away from home so I can stay involved. She actually may prefer that sometimes, so I'm not really too sure, so it's probably a good thing for her. Most of all to my parents who, every door was open to me because of their support. I don't ever remember them not being at a game. All the cold nights out at Norbrock Stadium, all the hard benches in gyms watching basketball, and keep in mind this was before someone figured out that you can actually sit on a cushion in a gym. So, standing on the sidelines of a rugby game, trying to figure out the rules, they were always there. They would travel to Vancouver for every UBC and Lions home games, and they'd even travel to Winnipeg to watch me play several times when I moved to Winnipeg. They still continue to go watch their grandchildren whenever they can. More cold nights and more hard benches, but yes, they did buy seat cushions, so they're good now. In closing, I'd like to leave you with something that when we were in university, a lot of the guys from Kamloops, we would have a little thing we'd like to say to each other or say to other people anyways. And we'd always say this: there are only two kinds of people in this world. There are people from the Loops, and there are people who wish they were from the Loops. Thank you.
You can tell Brad still has that teammate mentality with all the gratitude he has for all the people who have been in his life up to this point. That's fantastic. Congrats, Brad. Okay, well, everyone probably could have spoken a little bit longer because that concludes our evening for the Kamloops Sports Council Athletic Awards and the Kamloops Sports Hall of Fame. Congratulations once again to all of our winners and our inductees. And thank you to everyone for tuning in tonight. We hope that everyone has a safe and healthy rest of the summer. Thank you.